Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Cool Podcast on Patreon. This is for all the patrons out there listening in. And if you're not a patron, you're hearing this, turn it off. It's illegal to listen to a Patreon episode and not be a patron. I've never done that before myself. I'll never do it. So thanks for all the patrons subscribing. This is a new podcast that we're doing as part of the Patreon. It's the Cool Podcast. Normally we do the Cool Stream, which is a combination of videos and reading, a whole lot of reading, watching funny videos over on Twitch. But this is the Cool Podcast. So, thanks for listening in. This is the first ever episode, the pilot episode. I hope you're liking the theme song. This is just something I whipped up the last minute. Didn't really do a lot. And welcome to the Cool Podcast. That's another part of the intro. Is that part? It's pretty cool. So, welcome in. Of course, we got all of our soundboards. We got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's basically kind of like the Cool Stream, except it's in audio form. So it's a little bit different. We're not going to have videos and stuff to distract you and shiny, flashy objects where I can just kind of sit back and put on a movie and all the kids sit back and they're like, man, they just watch it and don't care. I got to do a lot of work to make this good. So that's what we're going to figure out today is how to do a podcast. This is the pilot episode. I've never done a podcast before, but I have done 50 freaking episodes of the Cool Stream, 62. Our 62nd episode was last week, and I guess we'll do a Cool Stream update. Kind of some of the goings-ons. It's going to be a weekly podcast. I don't know if I said that. It's going to be a weekly podcast. So we'll follow up with some of the stuff we talked about, I guess, and talk about some behind the scenes. I don't know. Whatever people want, I'll do just whatever. Keep giving me money, please. Anyway, shout out to the patrons on Patreon. That's right. We have a new Patreon over at patreon.com. And I should probably look up the real address, but it's over in the Discord. You can check out the Discord if you want to subscribe. If you're not subscribing and you're hearing this, like I said, that's illegal. And the podcast police are going to come for you. Anyway, we're just doing all this on the fly. No editing, none of that stuff. Just like a normal Cool Stream. It's the Cool Podcast. So I want to say shout out to the patrons. God. Shout out to the patrons. We got Turbo, and I'm going to call people by their screen names, if I can remember some of these. We got Turbo. Let's do a clap. We got all the sound alerts and stuff, too. Or the soundboard, whatever the hell it's called. Shout out to Turbo. Shout out to Manderson. Wow! Shout out to Rock Solid. Shout out to Poff. Wow! I'm not going to do this every episode. And I believe this is Nemiko. I think. Oh, crap. I pressed the button too many times. Shout out to all the patrons over at the Cool Stream Patreon. Yeah. We did a post there welcoming everyone to the Patreon. You can go and read that. We got some comments. Just talking about some of the crazy cool stuff we're going to do over at the Patreon, including this, the Cool Podcast. Yeah! It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're also going to do some bonus episodes of the Cool Stream. I got some ideas. And I'll save that a little bit later. Talk about the next upcoming episode. So I think what I'm going to do is release these midweek. What is this, Wednesday? I can't even keep track of the days going on these days. So many days to keep track of. When you're like me, you're just sitting around all day not doing anything. Every day's the weekend for me. I've got my water here. This is a water hydration podcast. We're not doing iced coffee. I can't be getting juiced and jazzed every other day on iced coffee. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's the Cool Podcast. And we're going to do some bonus episodes. It's going to be a weekly podcast. We're going to talk about some stuff. I've got to keep everyone entertained. I've got to move things along. So it's the pilot episode of the Cool Podcast. What the heck are we going to do? I don't have anything prepared, really, but I will have things prepared. We'll have some guests. We'll have some special segments. We'll have all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll have some different cool sounds and weird things. I've got this. This is a new kind of soundboard thing I've got going on. Check this out. This is kind of cool. Some sound drops. The Cool Podcast sound drop is what that one's called. Okay, so we're all ready. We're all strapped in, ready to go. The first ever, not the episode 1. Okay, this is not episode 1. This is the pilot episode. We're ready for takeoff. It's the pilot episode of the Cool Podcast. So we got to figure out what we're supposed to do for a podcast. So I thought I would pull up some websites. You can't see this, but you know me. I'm over here reading stuff all the time. I can't stop jabbering. So we're going to read a little bit about how to start a podcast, because I need to know this stuff. I really need to know. And hooray! This music is crazy. It's the Cool Podcast, everybody. Get ready, strap in. We're going to learn how to do a podcast, because we don't know what the hell we're doing. We've never done one before. We've only done streams. So we got to figure out what the hell to do. And I've got to see if I can get us all the way to the half-hour mark. That's what we're shooting for today. And I'm sure I can, because I can just do that. I can just talk all day long. All right? All right, now we're going to learn how to start a podcast, everybody. What the heck are we going to do? Let's check out thepodcasthost.com and see what they got in store for us. All right? How to start a podcast. Every single step for 2020. This guide holds your hand through every single step around how to start a podcast. Whoa. They got planning, naming, episodes, format, recording, producing, publishing, and next. These are all the little buttons they got here. So I've started. Let's see. We got the naming down. That's done. The Cool Podcast. Planning. We did a little bit of planning. I went in and wrote down about 1 million different ideas, just brainstorming, brain dump, everything I could possibly think of that would be cool for a cool podcast. And of course, it helps that we've done 61 freaking episodes of the Cool Stream, so we've got no shortage of potential topics that we can go back to. Since we can't do any visual type stuff, we may get into some what kind of weird podcasts are out there. I listened to some of these. You heard some of these weird podcasts? I sure have. Okay. We'll definitely get into some weird podcasts. I got all kinds of ideas, like I said. And so we're going to learn how to start a podcast. Okay? How to start a podcast in 18 steps. This music, I haven't really quite figured out what the music's doing. I just picked out a bunch of stuff. Here we go. We're going to start a podcast in 18 steps. Simple as that. Why are you doing a podcast? Well, I started a Patreon, damn it. Need to make some money. Who's your podcast for? This is a list of all this stuff. How to start a podcast in 18 steps. Why are you doing a podcast? Well, I started a damn Patreon. Here we go. Here's the whole list. It's as simple as that. So, firstly, why do you want to make a podcast? Are you a freelancer, a business, or a marketing manager? I'm all of the above. I'm the CEO, the president of Coolstream, of the Coolstream, and Coolstream Patreon, and also the Cool Podcast now, and subsequent bonus episodes that'll be coming out. If you're all these, you might have identified podcasting is a great way to build authority. I'm going to flex my authority muscle over everybody. Provide your customers and target audience with valuable and entertaining content. I'll say, I hope this is entertaining. I hope to God that this is entertaining to anyone, especially the people paying me money. Are you looking at podcasting from a hobbyist perspective? Well, for the IRS purposes, yes, this is all a big hobby. This is just a lot of fun. A way to reach out to some of my online pals out there. People are loving it, so I'll keep doing it. So, I'm creating a show in my spare time. The subject will be something that you're passionate about. That's right, I'm passionate about the Cool Stream. The Cool Podcast is a podcast about the Cool Stream? Question mark? I'm not sure. That's a good question. What is this podcast about? I don't really know. Okay, in either case, you can identify your why, quote unquote, why, here. That's important to keep in mind so that you can stay motivated, even when you're finding it difficult to get a show out. I'm all blocked up. I can't get the show out. I need to do a show. So I just need to go back to the why. Why am I doing this? Well, like I said, I need to make some money. Who is your podcast for? Okay, we already covered that. First day, get the big question in. Who are you making this podcast for? It's for all the patrons, people that like the Cool Stream. So they're already familiar with the whole body of work. People are loving the Cool Stream. They've seen every single episode, every single hour, second of everything that I've ever done. So I could just pull up any old thing and they'd be like, yep, I heard of that. Like when I play this, they'll be like, I remember that when that happened. You remember that? If you're a real cool head, a cool patron, you'll know exactly what some of this obscure stuff is. Just like that. Okay, well, let's see. If you're coming at it from a business point of view and you're a personal trainer who wants to make a health and fitness podcast, then your target audience might be people who are interested in healthy eating, weight loss, exercise, and or bodybuilding. If you're creating a hobby show, let's say it's based around your love of zombies or post-apocalyptic fiction. I love zombies. Then your target audience would simply be folks with the same passion. They might be fans of TV shows like The Walking Dead, video games like Resident Evil, books like World War Z, also a movie, and films like Night of the Living Dead. So this is what this website, thepodcasthost.com, categorizes under hobby show as stuff about zombies and TV shows. There's a podcast for everything. Maybe we'll come back to more podcasting stuff. We're already 12 minutes in. Holy crap. Maybe it'll have to be a 45-minute long episode. We're just going to see. It's the pilot episode. All right. My ideal podcast listener. Who's my ideal podcast listener? Someone who's giving me money. Okay, I need to stop saying that. It's for a hobby. It's for the love of the game, for the love of the pod, baby. Give them a reason to listen. Whether you're providing... This is number 3. Maybe I need a sound drop for number 3. Give them a reason to listen. Whether you're providing information that will help someone to lose weight, in the case of our personal trainer, or doing a really entertaining interview with one of your favorite authors. In the case of our zombie podcaster, and that's a hobby podcast, you're providing value for your listener. Not only have you given them a reason to listen, you've given them a reason to come back for more. It's important to think about this in the planning stages. Can you write down 10 to 15 potential episodes that you think your target audience would love to listen to? You got it. I certainly did. How many episodes did I write down? 1. Pilot episode. That's all I got. Oh, crap. What are we going to do? Need more help planning your show to make sure it's got the best chance to take off? Yes. We've got a podcast launch course and weekly live coaching sessions in our Podcast Host Academy. All right. We're going to go to school for this. It's all dedicated to designing your show. This course will walk you through defining your audience, your topic, and your format, and then take you through everything else you need to go live, from recording to equipment to editing to publishing. And I've got all that stuff down. I've got all the tech ready. We got all kinds of stuff. All right, we're recording live to WAV file. That's a little bit of behind the scenes about recording stuff. Check out Podcast Academy. I'd like to take out a student loan and take some courses at Podcast Host Academy. We make podcasting easy. Conquer the tech, grow your audience, earn from your show, and get personal help. Let's pick a new song here. The Podcast Host Academy. We make podcasting easy. They have deep podcasting courses, personal live coaching, resources, and tools. Hundreds of video lessons, dozens of hours of learning, live support session, free theme music. Oh, whoa. I could use some of that. Do any of these questions sound familiar? This is the Podcast Host Academy. How do I launch? Quick! And I've done it just right. All I had to do is open up Audacity. I had to spend about an hour trying to figure out how to do a theme song. That was probably the most time that I've spent so far, and it was worth it. Turned out pretty good. And here we've got a little chat popping up. Is there anything confusing you or putting you off joining the Academy? Well, how much is it? That's the big question. It's all about dollars and cents over here for me these days in this economy. And I heard that we're all going to be getting a check, which is pretty cool. I hope this music's coming through here. It's going to stink if I finish up this great episode and then, oh crap, it didn't record. That would really suck. Anyway, do any of these questions sound familiar? How do I launch? Quick! How do I grow an audience? How can I earn from my show? And I'm still trying to figure that one out. What's the best mic or recorder to use? And I've got all that figured out. No questions. It's sounding good, sounding great. How do I set up podcast hosting and a website? We've got Patreon all set up. We're good to go there. We don't have a Cool Stream website. That'd be kind of cool. If we did, we'd probably go on over to Wix.com or Squarespace. Maybe we're looking at getting sponsored. I guess technically I'm sponsored through the patrons, and they don't want to hear any ads. But we might have to do a few ads. You never know. How do I edit my show and create great quality audio? We're not doing any editing. It's live. We're recording live through Audacity right now, baby. And we're not editing. This takes too much time. It's going to be kind of like the Cool Stream, Cool Podcast. How do I start to earn money? Wait, what does this say? How do I start to earn money? My podcast? Question mark. You're going to want to get those typos out of there. First of all, how to earn from your podcast. Start now and grow your earnings. Okay. That's one of the courses, how to make money with your podcast. But the headline here says, how do I start to earn money my podcast? I don't know. Find a podcast sponsor. Still trying to figure that one out. We are still trying to figure that one out. It's getting crazy out there. Zoom Dragon, you remember those guys? Still haven't heard anything from old Zoom Dragon. Is the Podcast Host Academy relevant in my country? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm just scrolling around here, thepodcasthost.com, reading about the Academy. Okay, here's what our community says. This is from Jackie Brambles from Broad Stance Media. Despite my 30 years of experience in program making, Colin's insight into what makes a podcast compelling is invaluable. I honestly wouldn't make a podcast without them, and I'd strongly suggest neither should you. All right, kind of weird phrasing on that. I should be one to talk. If you're trying to follow some of the stuff I'm saying, I don't even know where to begin sometimes. I'm going left and right, zigzagging all over the place. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, even for me. Okay, but that's the Cool Podcast for you. It's a crazy show where I just kind of ramble on and on, read websites, and do all kinds of stuff for the patrons on Patreon. And that's something you need to do on a podcast is continue to restate your goals. This is my goal, to create a podcast. All right. And this is a message from Julie Christie from Tea Break Tog. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll check out the Tea Break Tog podcast. As someone who literally had no idea how to go about starting a podcast, I'm so glad I found Colin. If you want to concentrate on creating great content for your show, then get the podcast host to worry about everything else. All right, and now this is starting to feel like an ad for the Podcast Host Academies. I want to see what this with Tea Break Tog. What is that? That's the podcast from this woman, Julie Christie. Tea Break Tog. Oh no. Sorry, you're trying to reach an old website. Oh crap. The Tea Break Tog podcast. Let's check it out. We're gonna investigate some different podcasts. That's one thing we'll do. So let's go ahead and start that as this is a new segment here. And let's do just whatever sound I can find. This is the segment wait, I need to start over. I don't have a name for the segment. It's the Pod Roundup. This is the segment where we listen to some different podcasts and just see what they're all about. The Pod Roundup. That went pretty good. Okay. Tea Break Tog. What the hell? Okay, this is from Stitcher. Stitcher.com. Episode info. Tea Break Tog for Photography Podcast. The episode I got here is why Tea Break Tog might not be for you. In this episode, we talk about who is not a good fit for Tea Break Tog. Tea Break Tog. Weird name. I wonder if it's going to let me listen to it, because I'm not subscribing to Stitcher. Well, how to become a better photographer. Okay. Tea Break Tog. Okay, it's not playing for me. Well, that stinks. I just tried to start this new Tea Break Tog. Okay, here it is on Facebook. Let's go on over to Facebook. Tea Break Tog.
An effective way to grow your photography business. Hell yes. And if you're still questioning why, then this video is for you.
Oh, baby. It's all about starting your photography business. Togs in business.
Since GDPR, more photographers than ever are asking me whether there's any point in them trying to build an email list. But the new data protection laws have actually made email lists even more engaged than ever before. Because now your subscribers have to genuinely want to be on your email list. You can't.
I love being on an email list. So this is a podcast about getting, what is this? More videos to explore. Okay. Okay, hold on. It's hard. I'm trying to get used to doing the cool podcast where you can't see anything on my screen. But Facebook is recommending a video, and that's what's coming up here. But we're talking about Tea Break Tog. Tea Break Tog and Togs in Business. I guess that's short for photographer. So this is about needing an email list. I love being on an email list. And if you need a good way to reach out to people via email, is go check out MailChimp. I don't even know what that is. I listen to enough serial podcast.
Cannot contact them otherwise. And this is what you want. You want a list of people who want to hear from you. This means that you're more likely to have them open and click on your emails.
Should we start an email list for the Cool Stream? Oh God, that'll just be another thing that I have to do. It'd just be an email list of some weird websites. Check out this weird website that I found today. Tea Break Tog. Togs in Business. Is Togs in Business right for you?
If you've been wondering whether the Togs in Business membership is the right fit for you or not, then stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what's different about my training and who it is perfect for.
It's perfect for the Togs. I'm gonna mute this music.
You have an overwhelming choice when it comes to photography, business, and marketing education. There are superb mentors and coaches out there.
All right. I'm bored of this already. Togs in Business. Anyway, she got some great advice from the podcast host, Tea Break Tog. Togs in Business. It's an interesting name. I guess she's from the to-go resource for ambitious, brave photographers. Check it out. Tea Break Togs and Togs in Business. And she sounds like she's Scottish. So that must be a little slang that they have for photographer. Togs. Part of Pogs. Okay. So this is the recommended video that's coming up here. And once again, you can't see any of this. This is Gary Brooks' best children's book ever. Best children's book ever. What's this guy have to say?
Through the current situation that we're in the United States and really all over the world. So I want to contribute to that humor. I've rewritten some classic children's books that all educators and parents are going to know about. I've rewritten them so that we can read them to our children and our family members.
Oh no, what the hell is this? This is Gary Brooks, spelled with a G, or Jerry Brooks, I don't know. Gerry, Jerry Brooks. Best children's book ever. So he's doing a little funny accent or something. I don't know. This might be, 3,000 comments. What are people saying about this guy, Jerry Brooks? Love it. People love it. People love this guy. What is this all about? I'm not sure.
Just gonna love them. Grab them on Amazon. Here's the very first one. This one's called Llama Llama, Homeschooled by Mama. This poor old mama's now, she's going to be a teacher. She's never done that before. You can read about all her chaos. This is in honor of all them parents that are having to be teachers right now. We love you. So grab this book off to Amazons. Here's my favorite one. Frog and Toad practice social distancing. Separation. So they only invite the two of them because they know they're not allowed to gather in big groups, but they're sitting so close together.
Okay, and this the picture of it, you can't see it, but it's the classic book of The Frog and the Toad. Remember that book? It's a classic kids book. It even has the little... I guess he's doing a joke. I guess that's what he's doing. He printed off some fake books. So I'd never heard of the llama one, but I have heard of the frog one. So this is the best children's book ever. Has nothing to do with T for Togs. That's something else. Jerry Brooks, Frog and Toad. Practice social distancing.
This book teaches them 6 feet apart, guys. So make sure you grab Frog and Toad, Practice Social Distancing. Here's another classic that everybody knows about. If you give a mouse some toilet paper, in this series he wants more and more. He's going to ask for some hamburger. We can't find it. Then he's going to ask for some hand sanitizer. We can't find it. You're going to just love this one. Here's another.
Okay. Oh boy. All right, so that's the podcast roundup. I guess I'm not even going to play the little stinger on that. So that's what we're going to do. One segment we're going to do is just where we jump in and see what some other podcasts are up to. That's kind of fun, right? Let's switch up this music and let's talk about some other stuff, and then we'll end the show because I've already set the arbitrary length of this show to be 30 minutes. So I can do whatever I want now. If people want it to go longer, then too bad. And another thing is I don't have any outro music, so that kind of stinks. I guess I'll just play the theme song again. All right, let's go. Let's see. What else was I going to do? I've got a tab open for something, the odd news, but that's not coming up. I'm supposed to whitelist them. So that could be something, reading some weird odd news. Here's some odd news. Let's go ahead and do an intro for that. Why the hell not? We're coming up with new segments today. That's what you're supposed to do. I think we did pretty good, but let's just pretend like this is a new segment. If we like it, we'll do it again. If not, we'll not do it. We'll not do it anymore. Here's a new segment we got going. Check it out. It's the oddest and weirdest news on the Cool Podcast. And you can hear when I click to the next thing. So, some odd news. What do we got in odd news? Well, I hear the oddest thing that's going on right now is there's a virus and it's killing people. That's odd. Have you heard of this? You heard of this news? But there's still other odd news going on. Like this one, submarine training target washes up on North Carolina beach. Not California beach. Whoa, that's a weird name. Town of Kill Devil Hills. Kill Devil Hills in North Carolina. Strange. Officials in North Carolina said the Navy was called in to eject an unusual beach visitor, a 1,000-pound ball of concrete believed to be a submarine training target. The Kill Devil Hills Police Department said in a Facebook post the large barnacle-covered object that washed up on the beach Monday afternoon was not an explosive device and did not pose any danger to the public. Whoa. Police urged residents to remember to practice social distancing if they decided to take a look at the object. Well, now I could care less about the object, as the name of this town is insane. Kill Devil Hills is what it is. What in the world kind of name is that? The birthplace of aviation. Okay. Every other town claims to be the birthplace of aviation. I'm not buying that, but I'm checking out some Kill Devil Hills. Weird name. Never heard of that before. You never know what you'll find at washed up on our beach. The 1,000-pound target. It was filled with concrete. The Navy will be taking the device back to its headquarters to clean it up. Once it's cleaned up, they should be able to determine exactly where it originated. There's just a big concrete ball. It's like the old ball and chain washed up on shore. Kind of obvious joke that I could make there, but I don't want to. But maybe I have to. Well, an old barnacle-covered ball and chain washed up on shore. What is my ex-wife is back again? Okay, are you happy now that I did the joke? It's pretty funny. This is kind of cool. Kill Devil Hills. It's a huge barnacle-covered ball and chain. And what is it? My ex-wife washed up on shore again? Throw her back out to sea. Maybe someone in the comments made the same joke. It amazes me how powerful water is to be able to wash that ashore. Whoa, that is true. Pretty wild. I read an earlier story on this. Bet it freaked some people out. Little excitement during this weird time. Here we go from Laura Shattuck Singletary. The beach is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find. That's true. And here's a good question. I wonder how old it is. That is a good question. Is it from the old World War II times? Kill Devil Hills. Whoa. Kill Devil Hills. Check them out on Facebook. You can't see any of this, but it's a crazy barnacle-covered concrete ball. There's a whole bunch of pictures of it. Wow. Wow. Anyway, where did the name come from this crazy town? Well, we're going to figure it out because I want to know. Kill Devil Hills. I keep saying it like that. I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. It doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. It's a coastal town, of course. And Wikipedia is recommending that we also... Wikipedia is recommending we check out this album by DJ Muggs and Ill Bill called Kill Devil Hills. Kill Devil Hill. It's also a band. It's a heavy metal supergroup. Town of Kill Devil Hills. The town is the home to the site of the Wright brothers' first controlled powered airplane. Wow. The Wright Brothers National Memorial. Wow. Wow.
Look at that.
Kitty Hawk, popularly noted as the site of the famous flights, is approximately 4 miles to the north. Holy moly. Well, you learn something every day. And why? I just want to know why it's called that. That's all. I don't really care about any of this other stuff. Well, it's Kill Devil Hills. What's in a name? Kill Devil Hills in North Carolina. Much lore surrounds the origin of the name Kill Devil Hills, a beach town on North Carolina's Outer Banks that should be more famous than it is. For it was here, and not in neighboring Kitty Hawk, that the Wright brothers made their historic first flight off the top of a sand dune. Crazy. What does it mean? The most plausible explanation, and the one that the town officially endorses, stems from rum-carrying ships that sometimes ran aground off the treacherous barrier islands during colonial days. William Byrd of Virginia, hardly a fan of Carolinians, wrote that most of the rum they get in this country comes from New England and is so bad and unwholesome that is not improperly called Kill Devil. And there's a story that the ship loaded with this Kill Devil rum was wrecked opposite the Sand Hills, thus accounting for the name according to this book. And the rum was strong enough to kill the devil. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, well, I guess we ought to end the show. Thanks for listening to the Cool Podcast. That's our first pilot episode. I hope I did okay. I hope we figured out some stuff, how to do podcasts. We didn't quite really do much of that. We read some from the podcast host, and we kind of went off into some other directions, as you do, in the classic Cool Stream fashion. So, it's the Cool Podcast. Thanks for being a patron to the Cool Stream Patreon and listening to the Cool Podcast. We'll be doing this once a week. Every week you'll get a new episode of the Cool Podcast. And you're also going to get a special bonus episode. And I'm going to get that one rolling here in the next day or so. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting and cool. I guess I'll go ahead and tell you what it is so that you'll stay interested and you'll want to keep subscribing. All right, well, this will be the official announcement. Let's do an official announcement sound here. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's do this one. On the next episode of... wait a second. Frick. On the first episode of the Cool Stream Patreon bonus episode, we're going to go into Second Life. What? All right, we got some big Second Life heads out there. And what are we going to do? We're not going to do anything weird and untoward. We're going to investigate the Gray School of Magic because this is sort of related to our next episode of the Cool Stream, which is about pagans and paganism. The Gray School of Wizardry by our friend Oberon Zell. I went in there and checked it out one time. Thought, man, this is cool, but apparently you can't stream Second Life on Twitch or you'll get banned. So I thought maybe I'll just pre-record it. And then one thought led to another, as they usually do, and I thought, whoa, I could just record this for the first ever Patreon Cool Stream bonus episode where we go around the Gray School of Wizardry on Second Life, and I'll just record that and we'll see if anyone's there. There might be a crap load of people in there because they're all quarantined. They need something to do. So it'd be kind of interesting if we ran into some people in the Gray School of Wizardry. But it's pretty cool to look at. They have some cool buildings and you can fly around. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see what else is there. So anyway, that's the official announcement of the next bonus episode, just to kind of whet your whistle so that you'll stick around and check out some more episodes. All right, so I don't really know how to end the show. I guess we'll go out on the theme song, the new Cool Stream, the Cool Podcast theme song. Thanks for listening to the Cool Podcast. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you next time on the bonus episode coming up, but we'll also see you next week on the Cool Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Dunk your head in the hell toilet.
Oh, yeah!
Ooh, it's so good.
Groupie rolls.
The cool.
You actually know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah!